بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. أيها الإخوة والأخوات، أهلا بكم في الحلقة رقم 21. Okay, it's session number 21 for the English class at the Department of Economics and Business Administration at the College of Business at Imam University. And in this session today, which is session number 21, we will continue talking about the present simple tense and its use. All right, and then we will the second part of the class will be about actually taking some exercises, doing some practicing the use of the present simple tense. One thing I wanted to point out is that the exercises that we use in the sessions from the beginning until today and until the end, of course, are come from the grammar book. We're talking about the grammar part especially, of course, and this is the grammar book that we, of course, we know it's the one by Betty Azar. And so let's go to the first slide, and then we'll continue with the practice, exercises. Okay. All right. I think we have discussed this slide before, and in here we just looked at the sentences here, of course, are affirmative here, and the sentences here are in negative, and here they are what we make questions, how to make questions using does in the simple present tense. All right. This slide here gives even more examples: affirmative, negative, and questions. So look at the verb again with the affirmative in the affirmative form. It ends with S here. It says he gets up at 6 o'clock, and the negative of that sentence, of course, is he doesn't get up. And again, notice the S here is dropped. No S that exists here, it doesn't here. It doesn't exist here. It's dropped because it's in the negative form. All right? So he doesn't get up at 6 o'clock. And also, it doesn't exist when we make question. So, does he get up at 6 o'clock? All right. Sentence number 2. She eats breakfast at 7 o'clock. She doesn't eat breakfast at 7 o'clock. Does she eat breakfast at 7 o'clock? He starts work at 8 o'clock. He doesn't start work at 8 o'clock. Does he start work at 8 o'clock? My friend lives in Riyadh. Okay? My friend doesn't live in Riyadh. Does your friend live in Riyadh? Okay? He or she has friends. He or she doesn't have friends. Does he or she have friends? Okay. So these are more examples and more explanation of the, of course, the present simple tense using he, she, it, and how to make affirmative and negative sentences. Okay, let's move on to another slide. Pronunciation. Here it says, look at the questions and listen to me saying them. All right, so listen to me saying them. Do you come from Egypt? Do you come from Egypt? Now notice that there is a rising intonation here. Do you come from Egypt? And here, where do you come from? Where do you come from? The arrows here, as we said earlier, indicate some kind of either rising or falling intonation. Here it's rising, and here it is falling. Now listen and repeat. يعني أنت تستمع لي وتعيد معي. All right. Are you Egyptian? Are you Egyptian? Is he a teacher? Is he a teacher? Do you come from Cairo? Do you come from Cairo? Do you work in Riyadh? Do you work in Riyadh? Do you have any children? Do you have any children? Okay, there you go. So, are you Egyptian? Is he a teacher? Do you come from Cairo? Do you work in Riyadh? Do you have any children? All of these, of course, with rising intonation. With information questions, right? Where do you live? Where do you live? What do you do? What do you do? Where do you work? Where do you work? How do you go to work? How do you go to work? What time do you get home? What time do you get home? And here, of course, this arrow should be here, but because of some movement, we have it here. Okay? All right. Now let's practice the simple present tense, and we'll start with a listening exercise. It says here, listen to the sentences and circle the verbs you hear. Okay? All right. All right, let's see. You'll circle the verbs you hear. Number one, for example, you'll hear either this word or this verb or this verb. And here, so wake, wakes, wake, wakes, get, gets, go, goes, do, does, watch, watches, take, takes, take, takes again, and talk and talks. Let's listen.
Chapter 3. Using the simple present. Exercise 2, page 55. Listen to the sentences and circle the verbs you hear. 1.
I wake up early every day. Wake.
2. My brother wakes up late. 3.
He gets up at 11 o'clock.
4. I go to school at 8 o'clock. 5.
My mother does exercises every morning.
6. My little sister watches TV in the morning. 7.
I take the bus to school.
8. My brother takes the bus to school. 9.
My friends take the bus too.
10. We talk about our day.
Okay, let's listen again and circle the verbs, all right?
Chapter 3. Using the simple present. Exercise 2, page 55. Listen to the sentences and circle the verbs you hear. 1.
I wake up early every day. Wake.
Chapter 3. Using the simple present. Exercise 2, page 55. Listen to the sentences and circle the verbs you hear. 1.
I wake up early every day. Wake.
2. My brother wakes up late. 3.
He gets up at 11 o'clock.
4. I go to school at 8 o'clock. 5.
My mother does exercises every morning.
6. My little sister watches TV in the morning. 7.
I take the bus to school.
8. My brother takes the bus to school. 9.
My friends take the bus too.
10. We talk about our day.
All right, let me explain something here. Again, wake, okay, and wakes. Here, it's again wake. The verb ends with the sound k, and the sound k is voiceless. And, of course, the s sound is similar to the k sound in terms of being voiceless. So we say wakes and not wakes. We cannot say that, of course. So it's wakes and gets, right? Here it's go, but if it were this one is pronounced goes, but of course the one that we have heard is go. So it's this one is goes because it ends with a vowel o, go, and a vowel, all vowels are voiced. All vowels are voiced, so we say goes, not goes, we say goes, all right, goes. And here it's does. Similarly, of course, it ends with vowel, so we say does, and it's written S, of course. It looks like S, but it is pronounced Z. And here, this is the one that we, of course, didn't discuss before, but it ends with the sound ch. So it's watch, right? Watch, and the words that end with the sound ch, right, or s, all right, we actually pronounce them with is. So we say watches, watches. Even if you try to pronounce it without the I before the z, you can't. You can't say watches. You can't say that. And you can't say watches. That's even impossible. So the correct way is to say watches. And then take, of course, and then take, and then takes, right? Number 9 is take, and the last one is talk. The last one is talk. All right, next exercise. Choose the correct completions. Okay, you choose from here. You see the verb eat and the verb eats. Now, my mother and father, that is plural, of course, because we're talking about mother and father. Two people here, two persons, and we have the verb eat or the verb eats. Now, when do we use eat and when do we use eats? Eat is used for plural or for the pronouns I, you, we, and they. And eats, of course, is used for the pronouns he, she, it, or singular pronouns, singular nouns, other than I, of course. And so my mother and father eat, okay, breakfast at 7 every day. All right, number 2. My mother, that's singular now, and we have the verbs here. Oh, it's one verb, but it's two different forms, right? My mother, is it drink or drinks? Okay. Do we say my mother drink tea with her breakfast, or my mother drinks? Yes, it is correct to say drinks, not drink. So my mother drinks, and that s here again is pronounced sa because k is the last or the final sound in the verb drink. Okay, my mother drinks tea with her breakfast. Okay, her breakfast. I take or takes a bath every morning. Well, I, remember, with I, you, they, and we, okay, the verb stays the same, and here, this is the base form of the verb, so it's take. I take a bath every morning. Number 4, my sister, and my sister is singular, take or takes a shower, it's this one, of course, you're right, takes a shower. Number 5, I studies English with my friends. And the correct answer is not this one because the pronoun is not he or she or it is I. So we use study. I study English with my friends. Number 6, we, like the pronoun we, that's plural also. We walk, okay, or walks, okay, we walk or walks to school together every morning. It's actually walk, no s, because the pronoun is, the subject is the pronoun we. Number 7, class begin or begins at 9 every day? Well, class is singular, so it is actually begins. Number 8, it again, remember, it's of course it's a thing, refers to things. It stops at 12, and actually it refers to the class, because here we said it begins at 9 every day, and it stops at 12 for lunch. Number 9, we eat or eats in the cafeteria. All right, what do you think? Number 9 is eat. And number 10, my friends and I. Notice here, it's my friends and I. Okay, that's not only just the friends, but also me. So my friends and I go or goes. Of course, it should be go because that's plural, right? And plus we add I. So go home at 3 every morning. All right. Go to the next exercise, using frequency adverbs. With simple present tense, we use the adverbs always, okay? And that means when something, of course, is done always, that means it's what? 100%. We also use the adverb usually. Usually, that's 90 to 99%. That's we're talking about the percentage of the occurrence of something. And often, okay, often from 75 to 90%, sometimes, okay, 25 to 75%, seldom 5 to 10%, rarely 1 to 10%, and finally never. All right, never. These are called frequency adverbs, and يعني ممكن نقول frequency means تكرار. All right, adverbs يعني صيغ التكرار، صيغ تكرار الشيء يعني. The point is that they are used with simple present tense. They are not, of course, obligatory. You don't have to have them, right? But they're not a must, but they're optional. Sometimes you have them, sometimes you don't have to. So there you go. But the point about them is that they normally come right after the subject and before the verb. Okay, they come after the subject and before the verb. We'll get some examples in later slides. Exercise 3. Okay. Now you write S over the subject and V over the verb in each sentence. Then rewrite the sentences, adding the italicized frequency adverbs. Look at these adverbs. These are the frequency adverbs. By the way, this exercise is in your book on page, let's see, it's on page, it's in your book anyway, and it is on page 57. So you can also follow with me. All right, page 57 in your grammar book. Number 1. Okay, number 1. So what we need to do here is to write S over the subject and V, so S here for subject, V for verb over the verbs. Okay, then after that we write the sentence again, rewrite the sentence or sentences, adding italicized frequency verbs. يعني راح نكتب S okay, على أي كلمة من هنا من الجملة هذه. Which word is this? Consider the subject. ما هو المبتدأ في هذه الجملة؟ نكتب فوقه إيش؟ S. وما هو الفعل؟ What do you think? يعني أنت الآن قبل ما يعني أعطيك الإجابات. Alright, الآن ما هو السبجect؟ وما هو الverb? What's the subject and what's the verb in this sentence? Okay, so let's start with the first sentence here. I eat breakfast in the morning. Now, can you tell me what the subject is from this sentence? يعني هل ممكن تقول لي إيش المبتدأ? Where is the subject? Is it this one or this one or that one or this or this? or that. Of course, we know that the subject normally comes first in the beginning of the sentence, right? In an affirmative sentence. So it is I. That's the subject. And the verb, right, is eat. The verb is eat, right? The verb is eat. And now we need to rewrite the sentence, okay? This sentence, we need to rewrite it here in this space provided. So, I always eat breakfast. The third thing that we did here, الشيء الثالث اللي سويناه هنا إن إحنا إيش؟ وضعنا الادverb هذا إيش؟ الصيغة هذه بين الإيش؟ the subject والفعل. So, we say I always eat breakfast in the morning. Okay? We don't say I eat always breakfast in the morning. No. يعني احنا من الخطأ أن نقول I eat always breakfast. That's wrong. So it normally comes right after the subject and before the verb. Of course, there are some adverbs that come at the end of the sentence, but we don't have them right now. Second sentence, I eat carrots for breakfast. I eat carrots for breakfast. Carrots يعني الجزر. يعني I don't know who has the appetite to eat carrots for breakfast. Where's the subject? It's this. That's the verb. And I never eat carrots. Look at where we placed never. We placed it here, right between the subject and the verb. I never eat carrots for breakfast. Seldom. Subject, verb, and I seldom watch TV. And now I think you know, of course, how to do the rest of the sentences. Sometimes I is the subject, have is the verb, and it will be I sometimes have tea with dinner. I sometimes have tea. We need the word tea here, of course, right? The verb tea, okay, must be, of course, placed here as T-E-A, okay, to complete that sentence. All right, so I have tea with dinner. I sometimes have tea with dinner. And the rest of the exercise here, number 5, usually, right? Where do we place usually? Right here, between Sonia and the verb eats. This is the subject, and this is the subject, this is the verb, and the sentence is like that. Sonia usually eats lunch. Sonia usually eats lunch. Rarely, okay, subject, verb, right? And Joe rarely drinks tea, right? Okay. And notice that we don't have, of course, any completion here, because if we use rarely, we don't say anything after that. And often we drink tea after dinner. We, of course, is the subject, drink is the verb, and this is the sentence again. We often drink tea, right, after dinner. And this one, number 8, always. The students, okay, the students, all of that is the subject. This is the verb, right? And the whole sentence is the students always speak English in the classroom. In the classroom. And I hope that you, okay, get the chance, whenever you get the chance to speak English with whoever, of course, speaks it right, please do that. Speak English most of the time and listen, of course, to English a lot. That way you can, of course, learn English and start using it in your daily life whenever you want to use it. And with this, we come to the end of this session. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.